Peace be with you. Welcome to St. John the Baptist Catholic Church Sunday Reflections, a reflection by Father Zeno. Today we reflect on that first Sunday of the ordinary time. And a very crucial question is, are you near God's kingdom or are you yet there? Are we near God's kingdom or are we in God's kingdom? Today we go yet again to another question. For the last 4 Sundays we have been going through questions. Jesus Christ has been asked questions. And in the 4 Sundays following, we had a question on the 28th Sunday of the ordinary time by the rich man. What should I do to enter God's kingdom? The following Sunday, the 2 disciples asked, would one sit on the right side and the other one on the left side on God's kingdom? And the other Sunday, there was a question, but Bartimaeus asks Jesus that I may see. And today, now the question shifts from the rich man, the common man, from the disciples, now to the Bartimaeus, the so-called the marginalized in the community, those that are rejected, those that are left alone. But now it goes to the echelons, the high, the educated, the scribes. These were experts of the law. And they asked Jesus a very simple question. What is the most central thing? What is the most central thing? Which is the greatest commandment? Or rather, it's like asking Jesus, what is the greatest commandment? What is the most central thing? What is the most important thing to be united with God or to be in God's kingdom? And Jesus Christ takes that opportunity to summarize the whole scripture, because love is the summary of the whole scripture. And he takes Deuteronomy 6:6, which says, love your God. And then Leviticus 19 verse 18, that love your neighbor. And this commandment of love of God and neighbor begins with what now the Jews underlined. Hear, O Israel, God, love your God with all your mind, with all your soul, with your everything. That becomes the central. And the Jews were very particular with this love of God. And it all meant give God everything that belongs to God. And what is it that belongs to God in a human being? The heart, the soul, the mind, the strength, all this belongs to God. And then you give your neighbor, or you love your neighbor as you love yourself. This kind of a summary that Jesus Christ summarizes makes the scribe, this man of the law, to say, yes, Jesus, you have answered it rightly. You have done it perfectly, because this is greater than indeed sacrifice and offering sacrifice. And that is why now the first reading is the summary of that, what it is expected and what Jews in the Torah, in the law, was expectant, loving God and neighbor. In the second reading, it's about now the sacrifice. And he said, Jesus Christ, the high priest, does one sacrifice that is enough forever. Others used to do many a times, because of imperfection. They were not complete, they were not perfect. But now he shows us a new priesthood, that which we have been also going through in the book of Hebrew. Because the book of Hebrew has been presented to us, the high priest Jesus Christ, ministerial priesthood and the common priesthood. But now he talks about sacrifice, offering sacrifice. And we remember to offer sacrifice is also to give. And there is always the pain in giving. You give to the other. And that is in the giving, it is where we express the love. And in the sacrifice, then again, there is the hearing. Hear, O Israel, hear, listen to the voice of God, the will of God. And when we listen to the will of God, we obey. Obedience again is sacrifice. And then when we obey, then we love. And the loving is not just by word, but by action. And that's why Jesus Christ challenges the scribe that, yes, you people are good in the religious activities, the religiosity, the outside show of that we are good, we are religious people, we wear that which is religious outside, but inside we don't have the real now expression of the same. And then he tells them, when you look a little bit religious, when you look outside, the outside look of the good Christian who really follows the rules of sacrifice and everything, yet there is no love, then it is like being closer to God's kingdom and yet not there. Being there means giving God everything that you have, and then also being there means again also loving our neighbor. But remember, Jesus Christ in his teaching about love, he talks about love of the other and love of the other, and the other is the one who is in need. Remember the Samaritan story, the man, the good Samaritan story, the man who finds himself robbed, and he says, loving the other is loving the one. It is about the one in need. A neighbor is one in need, and the one in need can be your friend, can be your enemy. That's why it says, love even your enemy. Love the one who, hates you. Love the one who does bad to you. And that is the highest moment when Jesus says now, loving your neighbor, a neighbor be friend or enemy, then that is getting into God's kingdom. That is being already there. Just saying I love, that can be just a show. And that is why Pope Benedict in his encyclical, Benedict XVI, in his first encyclical, he talked about love. And he brought about the three aspects of love. The ankape, love of God. The eros love, love between the two people who are in marriage, who are in love. The filial love, the love of parent to children. And expresses and explains about love in that kind of a language, which is founded on the Greek understanding of love. Because the language of Greek is able now to elaborate the three aspects of love. And that is exactly what we come to battle with in this, that first Sunday of the honorary time. And so the question is, what is the most central thing to do to inherit God's kingdom? And it is expressed by Jesus, the summary of the scripture, the summary of all God's teaching, all Jesus' teaching. The summary is, love your God. Hear, all Christians, hear, all Israel, love your God with all your mind, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength, and love the neighbor as you love yourself. But Jesus Christ also added, love others as I have loved you. What is this greater love that one has to even die for the others? That is the kind of love that Jesus Christ challenges us to express, where we can die for the others. And die for others is sacrificing, going an extra mile. That's why Mother Teresa at one point would say, live with a little, with less, so that the others can have something to survive on. Loving by expression, loving by action. May God bless us in this, that first Sunday of the honorary time, Jabi. And as we come to the end of the month of October, the month of mission, we get into the month of November, the month of praying for the souls of the faithful departed. So we are crossing from the missionary month, where we were thinking about the mission of Christ, and the mission of Christ indeed can be summarized by that love. As we cross this month of October and enter into the month of November, and the month of November is about praying for the souls departed. We shall shift now from this thinking of what do we need to enter into God's kingdom, and we'll be going now to the eschatological understandings of the last times, and that will be like now entering to the end of our liturgical year, and also showing us this that we have been struggling. Now we are there, and we'll be reflecting on those who are already there, the saints in All Saints Day and All Souls Day. We reflect that also beyond our journey is yet we are on the way to God's kingdom. My dear brothers and sisters, what is most central to reach God's kingdom? Love. May might God bless you, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Thank you very much for the Zeno reflecting that first Sunday of Ontary time, year B. Thank you.